It's Saturday morning. It's 9 o'clock. Woo! What does that mean? Yes, it's time for the Monster Magic Saturday Show. Let's do this.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning. Feel the sun shining for your eyes.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Good morning, everybody. I do promise not to mention the weather, although I think technically I just did, because last week I seemed to have cursed it. So my lips are sealed. But last week's show, you may remember, I dedicated it to a terrific, inspirational legend of magic, Wayne Dobson, and sadly only a couple of days later Wayne died. It's a massive loss for the world of magic, but particularly a huge loss to his friends and family, and particularly a friend of mine that I know, Mike Sullivan, who worked closely with Wayne. As you will know, they were inseparable. He looked after Wayne and took care of Dietrich for him and everything like that. They were phenomenally close, and Mike loved Wayne, I know, and so it's really sad, and I don't really know what to say, but that but that I was very lucky to meet Wayne. He was a hero as I grew up. Just to meet someone off the telly would be great. To genuinely spend time with him, to get messages from him, to have him watch my show, is all just more than I could ever have dreamt of as a boy, watching him on telly, doing his Bananarama and all of those wonderful tricks. And he was a massive inspiration on me, and I know he was a massive inspiration for a lot of other people. And I can only encourage people who aren't familiar with Wayne's work to get on the internet and watch his shows, watch the tricks he did, and you will learn a lot, as well as be amazed and have a lot of laughs. God bless you, Wayne. You will be deeply missed. I'm sure Wayne would agree, though, that the show must go on. So it's time for some magic reviews. But even before that, I've got to say a big happy birthday to Mike Greenslade today. So happy birthday, Mike. I hope you're well, and I hope you've got some nice plans for the day. Right then, what's first up? Come on, let's do this. It is Perfect Water Glass and Perfect Champagne Glass by Harrius. This is Henry's take on the classic bottle production or glass of drink production. It's a full glass that you can produce from a variety of places. It is a great opener. The old drink production is usually done as an opener because it's usually quite painful and awkward to walk on with a full glass of liquid, and it's not without its perils, and it does restrict your freedom of movement. Now, this is why Henry's come up with this. I mean, it was interesting listening to the history of it, because the reason Henry Harrius's stuff is so good is because he makes them for himself. And I really do believe that, especially if you watch the tutorial for this and the way Henry talks through it. You can tell he's gone through all of the pitfalls, and he's sort of ironed out all of the things that annoy him about this over many years. There are clips of him doing this as a young man, although he doesn't seem to age, to be fair. There is definitely a picture of Henry up in a loft somewhere, getting older and older, whilst Henry remains his youthful self. So the real restrictions usually are in the body movement and so on, and also the sort of style of glass, the weight of the glass, and you're generally using a real bottle or a real glass that can break, obviously, if you drop it. Here, Henry has produced specific glasses for this trick. Let me just, so you get the glass. So this is the water glass, people. But it is, look, I mean, that looks more like glass than glass to me. But it is a polycarbonate, so it shouldn't break. If it does break, it's not going to leave any sharp shards all over the stage for the next performer or anything like that. It's incredible, and it's also particularly light. And you also get some bags. These are to be used if you're going to do the Rubik's Cube routine that Henry shows and teaches. I'll go more into that later, but you get 3 of them that you can use. And of course, you get the lid that goes on to the top of the glass. I don't think I'm giving away too much there. The good thing about this is how well this fits. It is a wonderful, strong seal, and what you can really do, you can actually hold it upside down, you can swing it around. You are very, very safe with this, and it peels off very nicely as well. That is it. Silent. It's perfect. It is the perfect glass to use. No real clever gimmicks involved. A simple, safe drinks carrying solution. The champagne glass is particularly wonderful, I think, especially if you're going to produce this at the end of a celebration or just to surprise someone with a party. The way that stem is cut, it really catches the light and gives the illusion of crystal, not just glass, but like a expensive crystal, which suits champagne, but it is genuinely plastic, I'm telling you now. It's astonishingly good, absolutely astonishing. It doesn't weigh as much as a glass. It is a little heavy compared to the water glass, but there you go. I think that is an exceptional looking glass. You also get, with the champagne glass, some slightly different sized bags if you want to do the Rubik's Cube trick. And then Henry teaches you his routines. So there's one that uses his Rubik's Cube 360, where you have a bag, you take out the Rubik's Cube gets mixed up, you put the Rubik's Cube back in the bag, and then you say you're going to solve it. You take it out solved. Your audience thinks there's another cube in the bag, but instead you produce a full glass and screw up the bag and toss it away. It is simply a really, really good trick. It's a lovely ending to a Rubik's Cube trick or any Rubik's Cube routine. The cube can be freely mixed. If you're familiar with Rubik's 360, then you'll know how it's done pretty much. Henry runs through the setup of it. He runs through how to make fake champagne. He runs through what liquids are ideal to use. He tells you why others aren't. I'll tell you now, it's the same with anything, even like the hydrostatic glass gimmicks and all of that. You want to stay away from highly carbonated drinks. So beer, genuine champagne, for example, a full glass of Coca-Cola, you need to just stay away. It's just because the gas builds up at the end and it'll start forcing the lid off, and then you'll have some issues. And he also talks even about the clothing requirements, little tips. Now the clothing requirements aren't necessarily really for the productions, but more just as a little safety feature or something to consider if you are doing any work with liquids in general. You don't have to do it with the Rubik's Cube with the bag. He teaches it like the classic production, just using a silk. He also demonstrates that it can be done with the routine in Handsome Jack, etc., by John Lovick, the name of which I can't remember, but if you've got the book, you'll know what I'm talking about. And that is Handsome Jack's opener. It's good, it's funny, it's quick, it's fast, it's magical, it's surprising. It is a really good take on this trick. And then Henry demonstrates the method for producing it from like the arm of your shirt or the arm of your jacket, if you're doing it as a casual performance, which is really, really nice. So you can just wear it with a casual overshirt rather than a full jacket, if you like. He also teaches the method of having it sort of stuck in your belt or your trouser waistband. The best person at producing that used to be the great Bob Reed, who would be producing bottles left, right and centre. And he really knew how to shift his weight and everything else. Henry doesn't go into quite that much detail, but you'll get the idea. And the nice thing is, it's just how safe you feel with this gimmick in play. It doesn't bulk out your body too much. You don't feel weighted down. You don't have that constraint at the back of your mind that you often do when you've got a bottle of liquid. And also just how quiet and silent and easy it is to remove the cap, especially when you're going into the bag, or even when you're removing it whilst it's in your jacket as well. I mean, it's also flexible, so you can palm it out, you can hold it out in your hand really easily as well. So you don't necessarily have to panic about getting rid of the gimmick very quickly. For once, I think perfect might actually be the perfect description for these glasses. If you want to produce a glass of liquid, perhaps maybe as the second routine in your act rather than straight away, or you just don't want to walk on stage with a slightly funny gait, like you've just got a dead leg, this is probably the best answer. With the Rubik's Cube routine, Henry does actually screw up the bag at the end and toss it away. You will get through your bags quite quickly that way, even though they are strong bags, but the refills are available, but you don't necessarily have to screw it up as badly as Henry does. You can just simply fold it up perhaps and put it back in your pocket. But that is The Perfect Glass by Henry Harrius, $44.99. Next up, it is the MS Chop Cup by Bond Lee. This is, of course, a leather chop cup that comes with some red monkey fist style balls and a red final load as well. You can use it for all of your favorite chop cup routines. Yeah, it's you know what, I absolutely adore my leather TCC chop cup. For me, it really got me performing the chop cup at every available opportunity. I just think it's the most beautiful thing in the world. I didn't think that anyone would bother producing another leather chop cup because TCC had just nailed it. So let me show you what you get in here, because you do actually get a really nice leather chop cup. It's got a slight rim around the top as well to stop anything rolling off should that happen. Let me just put the balls down a sec. They've got the stitching down one side. It's leather, it's lined. I mean, what can you say? It is very nice looking thing. The balls are the monkey fist style, as I mentioned. They're very nice. They're a nice bright red. You get a nice contrast as well. But aesthetics are one thing. What is really important is that this ball is wonderfully balanced with this cup. I've been playing around with it. You can handle it really well. When the ball is inside the cup, it feels secure enough, but there's no bashing or anything else like that. Just a deliberate movement and suddenly that ball will appear. That really impressed me, I have to say. That's what really worries me about chop cups. That's what people are always complaining about. It's perfect with this cup, and the cup looks great. It does come in two colours. This colour, which I shall describe as brown because that's what colour it is, it comes in black as well. The black sort of hides the stitching a little bit more than the brown, so if you don't want that contrast there, or maybe you feel that looks a bit rough, I don't know, but it's all about aesthetics really. And you also get the big final load as well, which is really nice. So with the TCC chop cup, so you don't get the final load. My final load is usually an obscure item anyway, whether that's you know, a lime or a shallot or something like that, even though I do have the big red leather final load regardless. So that is great. It is a complete set. You are good to go right out of the box. Actually, let me just show you. This is my TCC chop cup. I still prefer it. I don't know why. They are roughly the same size. I kind of like the green lining, I guess. I prefer the colour. Maybe it's just really what I'm used to. I'm not sure whether or not I used to really like these balls, but now I'm thinking maybe just the red monkey fist balls are a little bit better because of their colour and just how bright they pop. And considering it is £15 cheaper than the TCC Cup, it's quite remarkable. And the fact that you get the final load as well is a bonus. But then it comes to the tutorial, which was a very, very bizarre experience for me. So I first checked the tutorial out using the link that I get access to, and I thought they'd sent me the trailer because it was just 1 minute 23 seconds long. So that confused me a little bit. So I then used the tutorial link provided in the box, and that took me to the same 1 minute 23 second video that just had no explanation on it. It was just a performance of a chop cup routine. So that confused me. So then I used the QR code, and no, it turns out that is the tutorial. It is basically a 1 minute performance of the chop cup. Silent, so you don't get any patter or any of the great interaction that I really enjoy with a chop cup routine. If you want to learn a really good chop cup routine, Supercharged Classics by Mark James has a brilliant one on. This isn't going to teach you, well, I'll tell you what, the routine that Bondley shows you, if you know how the chop cup works, if you know all of the moves as well, and all of the motivation, is a really nice routine. It is beautiful. It's got lots of moments of magic in it, all very quick fire as you'd expect. I'm just a bit strange that he doesn't even talk through the workings of the cup, yet alone a French drop or a false transfer or anything like that. I find that really bizarre, especially when this is such a good product. All it needed was like with the TCC, a simple 10-minute tutorial teaching you through the basics. Just bizarre. Just really strange. So you may well find yourself needing another resource to learn a chop cup routine from. Michael O'Brien has his strolling chop cup, which is a great routine as well, puts a lot of it into the participants' hands. And like I say, Mark James's routine as well are two that I would suggest. But otherwise, you're just going to have to watch the performance and reverse engineering it using your magic knowledge. So there you go. It's a bit of a game of two halves. It is a brilliantly made chop cup. You just need to learn how to do it. That is the MS Leather Chop Cup by Bondley, $59.99. Next up, it's Token of Fame by Jose Cambra. This is a trick where you show your participants that you have a souvenir coin from the world famous Madame Two Swords attraction, and you then put that coin into their hand. They then think of a celebrity and name them. When they open their hand, on the back of the coin is an engraving of that person. Yeah, it's a great little hook, isn't it? It's a great little plot. Love the idea of Madame Two Swords. Everyone, well, most people have been there. Most people, some people just don't want to be there. Some people just think it's just a waste of time. So you've got a nice little introduction into the paper. You've got a nice little discussion going. And these coins do look like souvenir coins that you would genuinely get from somewhere like Madame Two Swords, I guess. I kind of believe it. Let me show you the coin. So that's the Madame Two Swords side. You do get a blank one as well. I'll show you that as well. This one's got Michael Jackson on the back. You only get two celebrities, so you only get Michael Jackson and Albert Einstein, but you know, people have heard of both of them, I expect. I'm not sure who you'd be performing for if you can't get away with one of those people. This is the blank side, obviously. Now, these coins at the moment are gold, and they look lovely in gold, nice and shiny, but they are in these protective cases. Now, in the video, in the tutorial that Jose goes through the trick, it's split up nicely in the tutorial actually into lots of different little videos, so an introduction of what you get, care and maintenance. And in the care and maintenance section, if you take these coins and leave them outside of these plastic cases, they will turn silver. Now that's not a big deal because your participants have never seen them as gold, so they won't know. But I think that's a bit of a shame. I'm not quite sure why that is. It's just how the coins are made, which is a bit of a worry, really. I don't know, because I quite like them gold. Now you've seen them gold, part of me just wants them to stay gold. They can stay gold as long as you keep them in these cases, so you'd have to perform the trick with them still in the plastic cases, like so. But I'm not even sure that's a big deal. Maybe the fact that it's in the case might even add a little bit more to the mystery, but sort of makes the trick less tactile at the same time. I guess it's not that important, just seems a little bit weird. And personally, I think I might keep mine in the case, just because it is a souvenir. It feels more like it's something that you've bought from a gift shop in a way, and I don't really want it to go silver because you can't reverse that process. The other tutorial videos are a breakdown of the methods used, so switching the coin. Not surprisingly enough, the coin doesn't do the magic for you. That's simple enough. And then there is a no coin switch idea, which is nice as well. So if you don't want to do the switching, you can just do this little fake turnover, which is quite a nice little addition, quite nice thought. There's no, well, he talks through methods of how to force the celebrity. They can only obviously name Michael Jackson or Albert Einstein. You have to make that happen. And he runs through various ways of doing it. Some you will have to pay for, some use the phone. All of those popular apps out there will be fine. Some of them actually genuinely use photos of celebrities and things like that. So they are probably the best. You can also do it in physical ways, usually business cards or a set of blank cards, so on like that, a forcing deck of some description. There are so many ways of forcing things, and that for me is just a little bit of a shame, because I know these coins probably aren't cheap to make, and I know you get 3 of them, but this isn't a cheap product, and you've got this whole Madame Tussauds thing going on. I think I would just have loved it if he'd taken it that step further and given you something that was connected to Madame Tussauds to use as the force. Whether he'd done a little fake Madame Tussauds website, whether or not it was just a simple brochure from Madame Tussauds, something they can just flip through and think of the celebrity that they end up on. I mean, there are just so many ways of doing it. Even if it was, just something, even if it was just a flyer from Madame Tussauds, I don't know, just to make it that nice, cohesive, fully fledged routine and really pull people into the story, really make it feel like you've been to Madame Tussauds. It really could have been just that little bit better, and sort of without being given the method for having the celebrity chosen, it just feels incomplete. But it is very easy to do. It does have the hook, which can be really, really engaging. If you already own some of these apps, then you're good to go, I suppose. And they're probably better than anything that someone else would have produced just to tie in with this one trick. Jose comes across as a really nice guy, and I do really, really want to like this, but for me it's one of those things that is close but no cigar. That is Token of Fame by Jose Cambra, $38.99. Next up, it's Artemis by Dante. This to me almost looked like trick video work when I saw it. You have a card chosen and it appears sandwiched between the jokers a couple of times before you pull out some jokers that have a hole cut in their middle, so you can clearly see there is no card between them. And then in the blink of an eye, that card appears and comes out from between those jokers. It's astonishing, that production bit. I've had so much fun playing with it. It is astonishing. And in the tutorial, at the end of the tutorial, or in Dante's section of the tutorial is split into two bits. He demonstrates just how to make sure that that card comes out and goes from between the two jokers. It doesn't just appear stuck between the two jokers. It sort of comes out and flies out between them. It can just send it across the table. Your palms are empty. It seems impossible that there was a card there before, and it's all done with a very, very clever gimmick that sadly I can't show you. I'll show you the little bits of it that I can show you, and that are these two jokers. Now they're red backed, and that's because you're going to be using a blue backed deck, and this just makes it pop when the blue card comes out from between red jokers. It is just that little bit more eye-popping. Also, the advantage is that the gimmick, I can show you the gimmick quickly. This is the gimmick. It's going to be a court card. It's not necessarily going to be Jack of Spades. It could be the Queen of Hearts or whatever it is. Obviously the setup, you need to set it up, the deck, accordingly to the match for your card, not the card they show in the tutorial. The gimmick is blue backed, and that hides the gimmicking much better than a red back. That's a top tip. If you're ever buying a gimmick of this sort, blue backs are generally better. But these are the jokers, and you can recreate these. These are simply, if you get a craft knife, they are just got a hole in them, so if these get damaged, you're fine to recreate these. Recreating the gimmick, you're not going to be able to recreate the gimmick. You can repair the gimmick. But what I'm going to say about this gimmick now, it's the sort of gimmick that normally I hate, but it is built so well. It's built really, really simply, but it's almost, I would say, twice as strong as any other gimmick I've seen quite like this. And I haven't quite tried to break it, but I think I've been pushing it well beyond what you need to do, well beyond what should be its limitations, as it were, and it's still working completely fine. I don't think this gimmick is going to break. They do run through at the end of the tutorial. Dante runs through or talks you through how to redo it, how to fix it. It's very easy to do. He doesn't demonstrate it, but if you've seen the gimmick, you'll know exactly what you've got to do anyway. The tutorial starts, actually, it's taught by the great Eric Tate, who runs through exactly what you receive and how to set it up. The one part of the setup, I'm not that keen on the locking mechanism, although with a bit of practice, to be honest, it's absolutely fine. I found it really fiddly to start off with. Not actually the bit that I was really worried about, which is the release of the card. Actually, that became much easier with time, to be honest, the setup has as well, but it was the setting up of it took a little bit of time to really be careful and to make sure I'd got it locked properly without damaging anything. I now understand exactly how it is, and it's become much better, but I could have done with a close-up of how that is done. Eric does describe it pretty well, but it would be nicer if there was a bit of a close-up, maybe a little slow motion, just so you know exactly what you're doing. But once you've mastered that, the gimmick does so much for you. Eric runs through a 3-phase routine, so the card is selected, as it were, and then you show the jokers, and you've got this little 2-phase classic sandwich routine, which is really, really lovely. And sandwich routines are great. They're kind of visual in themselves, and gimmickless, and they're well worth learning. It's pretty easy to do. It's a simple force of the card, a little card control, nothing difficult there, and it is good, powerful card magic. You then explain that you think perhaps the card was hidden between the jokers and you're hiding something, so you bring out the gimmicks and the Dante gimmicks. You show the holes quite cleanly. You can show both sides. It's very, very clean, and then that card just appears from nowhere. A solid card. It's great. You can, if you want, switch out the gimmicked card for a genuine card whilst they're examining the jokers. Perhaps it'd be a nice little offbeat. So Eric runs through absolutely everything in detail, and then Dante comes along and sort of repeats the same thing, but with a little bit more worldly experience, shall we say. He also teaches a couple of other ways of releasing the locking mechanism. You are getting a lot of magic in this little bundle, in my opinion. You're getting a fully fledged 3-phase routine, not just the flashy finale that is beyond anything I've ever seen to end a sandwich routine. But the first 2 phases are great and strong and easy to do as well. That is Artemis by Dante, $24.99.
This show is awful, terrible, disgusting. See you next week, of course.
And that's it for this week's show, I'm afraid. I do hope you've enjoyed it. I do hope something has tickled your interest, or I've imparted a little bit of useful information along the way. But come on, it's the weekend. Let's grab some magic, go out there and have some fun with the best hobby in the world. Bye-bye.